Good morning,
Good morning.
and welcome to Shaw University. I'm Terrence Dixon, Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Success here at Shaw. I want to thank you for coming out this morning and joining us. We're gathered here because, once again, the historic tensions of discrimination, pervasive and persistent racism have collided with the progressive strides for racial and social justice for every American. As an institution of higher learning, Shaw University will use this moment to educate, inform, and bring awareness to issues of fairness, justice, and accountability. Today, we're going to hear remarks from several individuals, beginning with the Shaw University Student Government Association President, Ms. Mariah Williams, who represents our future leaders, who unfortunately are still encountering and enduring the offenses that we hoped by now would be relics of the past, but unfortunately, they're not. Our students today are still dealing with issues of discrimination, racial profiling, and violation of their civil rights, just like Shaw students did in the 1950s and 1960s, whose historic shoulders and legacy of leadership we stand upon. After Ms. Williams speaks, you will hear from our fearless leader, the 18th president of Shaw University, Dr. Paulette Dillard, regarding the traffic incident that impacted our student body and campus community on October 5th. Dr. Dillard has called this a teachable moment, an opportunity for Shaw to remain true to his ethos and to continue to lead and educate the nation on the tenets of fairness, justice, and accountability. After Dr. Dillard concludes her remarks, you will hear from Attorney Dan Blue, who serves as General Counsel for Shaw University, to announce the steps that have been taken to address a traffic stop and the university's position about how to move forward as we use this encounter as a tool for instruction and improvement. Once Attorney Blue has completed his comments, in lieu of questions, the media will receive additional guidance and instructions on how to access copies of the Shaw University news release and copies of any related material. Again, thank you for your attendance today and for the work and attention that has gone into making today's announcement possible. Now, I invite to the podium the Shaw University Student Government Association President, Ms. Mariah Williams.
Thank you, Vice President Dixon, and good morning to all of you. I am Mariah Williams, the Student Body President for the 2022-2023 academic school year. As the official representative and spokesperson for the student body, I am here to speak on behalf of members of my generation about how the October 5th incident in Spartanburg County, South Carolina, has affected my fellow classmates and me. In 2022, it is hard to understand or believe that students on their way to a financial, leadership, and home ownership conference would be detained for more than what appeared to be a routine traffic stop. My classmates and I may be young, but we are not naive. We understand that some of the struggles from the past are still here and still prevalent. We are also keenly aware of the destructive and damaging effects that young people experience when people in positions of authority dismiss, disrespect, and assume the worst about us. Though I did not attend this conference and was not on the bus, it is hard to understand or explain how a routine traffic stop immediately turns into a search of private belongings by a drug-sniffing dog within a matter of minutes. But it is very easy to understand how students who did nothing wrong can be negatively impacted forever by such an encounter. Situations like this one can change how we see ourselves, how we see each other, and how we see the world. And these situations have the ability to erode public trust in established institutions that are supposed to protect and serve everyone equally. To my fellow Shaw Bears, I just want to say how proud I am to represent you all, and how proud the Shaw community is for how you handled yourselves during the traffic stop and search. But now it is time for accountability, and how we hope that this unfortunate incident will result in better policy, procedures, and policing for people everywhere. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite our president, Dr. Paulette Dillard, to the podium.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Vice President Terrence Dixon, for those remarks. And thank you to our Student Government Association President, Mariah Williams, for those thoughtful and insightful comments that provide representation and offer a voice for our student body and for other young leaders. You continue to make us proud. We're here today in this teachable moment because just as there was a need generations ago, there is still the need to elevate the conversation around fairness, justice, and accountability. First, I want to say again to our impressive Shaw University students how very proud I am of you for the respect and poise you demonstrated on October 5th. We're all proud of you. Also, I want to say to our students that I'm sorry you had to go through that experience. You did everything you were supposed to do, and yet we're still reminded that in this country, for some people, even being innocent is not enough. Last month, we were made aware of a traffic stop on October 5th in Spartanburg, South Carolina, that resulted in a drug-sniffing dog being used to search a university-chartered bus luggage compartment, along with several individual students' personal belongings. The bus driver received a warning citation, and nothing illegal or inappropriate was found. But that's not the real issue. The real issue is why and how a minor traffic violation immediately turned into a drug search. It begs the question whether every vehicle that is stopped for a lane violation is also searched for drugs by dogs. And if not, what is the probable cause that makes that determination? Who gets searched and why? We need to ask the question why the officer on board the bus immediately asked the students if they were transporting some type of illegal or illicit content within their bags. Something that, quote, wasn't supposed to be there. This situation is a stark reminder that the fight for civil rights is still an ongoing necessity. There is real harm done when individual rights are overlooked, ignored, or denied, and when it becomes commonplace to violate the civil liberties of innocent Americans traveling on interstate highway. There is a need and an obligation to protect every individual's civil rights. The harmful effects of eroding individual rights under the pretext of law and order are real, and they are rampant all over the country, but especially in this particular area in South Carolina, which has been called out previously for inequitable and discriminatory patterns of practice, for disproportionate, excessive searches and seizures of Black people without probable cause. For generations, Shaw University has led the charge for equality and equal justice under the law. From its legacy of leadership in the Jim Crow South to being a pivotal place and historic site of groundwork during the Civil Rights Movement, and being the founding site for the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, Shaw University has been at the forefront of the fight for justice, and Shaw University will continue to lead the charge. In 2020, Shaw University launched the Center for Racial and Social Justice in the wake of watching George Floyd being murdered at the hands of law enforcement officers, who once again overstepped their authority and violated an individual's rights. The Center for Racial and Social Justice was established to create awareness, to educate the public, and to demand accountability. That is what we are doing here today. We are obligated and committed to stand up and speak up for those who are historically overlooked and underestimated, because the laws of this nation should protect them too. Let's be clear. Racism is about power and systems. And just because there isn't a knee on someone's neck doesn't mean that no harm is being done. And just because someone greets you or smiles in your face doesn't mean that they are not still violating your rights. Since the incident, I've learned more about how this situation has impacted our students and their mental health and well-being. I want our students to know that we hear you, and we're going to stand up for you. And no one, including law enforcement, has the right to tell you that your fears and your feelings of humiliation and dehumanization are not real or valid, because they are. Today's press conference and our subsequent announcement is to redirect the focus of this local and national conversation back onto the real issues of importance related to fairness, justice, and accountability. Now I'd like to introduce and invite to the podium Attorney Dan Blue III, General Counsel for Shaw University, to provide an update on our findings and the university's next steps regarding this incident. Thank you.
Good morning. As Dr. Dillard has just recounted, on October 5th of 2022, a group of 18 Shaw University students were stopped in South Carolina en route to a conference in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, last week, on November 14th, 2022, Shaw University submitted a formal request to the Department of Justice for investigation into violations of Title VI and the civil rights violations committed by the Spartanburg County and Cherokee County, South Carolina Sheriff's officers. That complaint recounts the narrative that Dr. Dillard just shared with you, along with observations from our review of the encounter footage that was provided by Spartanburg County during its press conference, on November 1st of this year. There are three particular allegations that I'll call to your attention and that we believe are worthy of further investigation. All of these will be provided to you along with the letter that we submitted to the Department of Justice. First, Shaw has objected to the use of an alleged lane violation as a pretext for a drug search on an interstate highway. There's no objective evidence at this point of a lane violation, but very quickly the incident moves from being an encounter over a traffic stop to a drug investigation with a canine that entered into the compartment, searched, alerted on a bag. The officer picked up that bag, opened that bag, found donuts, and then proceeded to open 3 additional bags, all of which, by the way, was learned by the students only after they saw the footage. It was never disclosed to them. They never provided consent. That's problematic. Second, Shaw notes, as I mentioned, that before the K-9 alerted outside the bus and before entering into the luggage compartment, there was only a black bag that was under suspicion. The officers described it as a black bag. The additional bags that they opened were green and purple and blue. They were not the original bag. This was a continued search to find contraband. They did not find anything except for the donuts and prescription allergy medication. And third, probably most important, as Dr. Dillard alluded to, this traffic stop, as we learned, was part of Operation Rolling Thunder, which is an operation that South Carolina conducts periodically each year and has done so for the last many years, where they police the interstates, particularly using lane violations and traffic stops to seize illegal weapons and drugs. More importantly, they seize currency. Last year, during this operation, they seized over $968,000. This operation is something that they continue to do, and it's something that's alarming. It gives them every motivation to turn every traffic stop, every lane violation, every faulty turn signal, every busted tail light into an illegal search and seizure, for which they're compensated and awarded, while people are traumatized and stopped during their travels. We've submitted that complaint. From here, we expect the Department of Justice to review the complaint, to forward it to the appropriate team or agency for resolution, if necessary, and to follow up with us. That follow-up may come in the form of a request for additional information. It may come in the form of an investigation or the initiation of an investigation as we have requested. It could be a referral to another organization for further assistance, or it may simply be a statement that the department cannot help. Shaw, however, has done its part. The students have spoken up, the university has taken action, and we now leave this in the capable hands of the Department of Justice. We'll alert you if there's new information. Thank you.